The numbers speak for themselves. The fact that there's such a high level of interest in Australia Week in China, off the back of the China-Australia Free Trade Agreement, just underscores that the Australian business community gets it. I mean, they understand the tremendous opportunities that exist in China. So really, I think that the best thing government can do is create the right environment for us to have preferential market access, which is what the coalition's been able to do. And then we know in the fullness of time that businesses will take advantage of that competitive edge that they've got over other competitor nations in order to drive more goods trade, or in order to drive investment or additional services trade. So I'm just a believer that if you create the right business conditions, then business activity will flourish.
A lot of other countries are making their visa rules easier or offering long-term visas for Chinese tourists and business people. Is this something that Australia would consider to increase tourism, education and business?
Well, I'm really pleased that Australia's made some concrete steps forward when it comes to visas. We recently announced the introduction of 10-year multi-entry visas into Australia. That's going to be a terrific boon, I think, for people that are looking at coming to Australia, be it for tourism, holiday, visiting family and friends. We've also got, of course, increased access to Australia under business visas as well. The Australian visa system, though, is undergoing a period of reform at the moment. We're hoping to move over the future years towards a trusted traveller program, where we know that a particular individual has a profile that we know as a trusted traveller, and so because of that they'll be able to get multiple entry over a longer period. So we will slowly transition toward that, but in the interim we've got this 10-year multiple entry visa, which I think will prove to be a real hit.
The Aussie media has made a lot out of the Malcolm Turnbull gala lunch for business that's costing $300,000 in total and about $160 per head. Do you think they're missing the point when it comes to engaging and trying to boost trade and investment?
We're always prudent with how we spend taxpayers' money. Taxpayers, of course, expect value from their government. They want to know that their money isn't being wasted. We've got nearly 2,000 people that are coming to a lunch as part of Australia Week in China. It's got the Australian delegates there. It's got a lot of the leading people from China there in terms of senior government officials, in terms of senior people in state-owned enterprises, academics and others that are members of the party. They're all going to be at this lunch. It's going to be a terrific opportunity for business relationships to develop.
It's not too big?
Well, look, it's a big lunch, but I think in China you have to get used to dealing with big events and doing things on a bigger scale than perhaps in an Australian context you would be used to. But if you look at 2014 with Australia Week last time, we saw off the back of that $1 billion worth of additional export trade that was attributed to Australia Week in 2014. We saw $3 billion of additional investment that was attributed to Australia Week.
What will happen this year?
Well, if we get similar numbers to that, that's a great outcome. And obviously it's a very worthwhile investment, $300,000, if we can generate an extra $1 billion of export sales and an extra $3 billion of investment.